Hey folks, it's Matt. I wanted to start this episode off before we even get into it by doing a couple of things. The first thing that I want to do is give you ample warning, give you a content warning. On this particular episode, we are going to be discussing the George Floyd tragedy. For those that are unbelievably unaware what happened here, he was murdered on Monday. The tragedy had just happened when we went to record. He was murdered by police standing on his back and his neck. The video has been making the rounds online, and that brings me to the second thing I wanted to address. There's a portion of the podcast where we discuss compassion. There's a long silence in that moment, and I wanted to clarify what that long silence represented. The compassion is for those who that type of footage triggers. Unfortunately, in this country, in this world, we see this sort of thing happen to African Americans far too often, and we need to be compassionate and sensitive to those who identify with that. It's a shame. It truly is. It's reminiscent of the Eric Garner murder in 2014, and to see something like that again making the rounds, especially now when human life is so fragile, when we've experienced so much death in these past several months alone, it's heartbreaking. So much so that I quickly wanted to move on from it. It's uncomfortable. I didn't even want to say murder in the moment, but I feel like it would be irresponsible and lazy of me not to call it what it is. Over these past 3 nights, there have been protests. The National Guard has been called in, and Lex and I discussed doing something. We can't do anything directly, but we would like to encourage those of you that can to donate to the Minnesota Freedom Fund. We're going to put a link in the show notes, of course, and you can even just Google them and find a way to donate directly. Minnesota Freedom Fund. For those that do, and if this encourages you any further, please let us know that you donated. We'll send you something in the mail to thank you for doing so. That offer doesn't expire. So thank you for listening to me get this out. Here's the show.
How's it going?
Not bad. How's about you?
Yeah, good.
Good. Yeah.
I was very curious to hear how you guys are doing, because I've heard so many stories about like people that get the virus and then they feel okay after like 2 weeks or whatever, they start to recover, and then they like relapse again and have problems again.
Thankfully, that's not the case for me.
Good.
You know, I mentioned last episode, Dee is still fighting it right now because, she's got, issues that cause.
It's just harder.
It's harder. It sticks around. But I'm pretty much doing okay. I feel like I'm at like 90% now. I'm coughing a lot less. I'm taking less medicine to treat the cough when I do get it, and I'm doing all right. That's interesting though. Where did you you heard about people relapsing, huh?
It's just it's mostly been like seeing people talking about I had it and like hearing them, sharing their stories and everything like that. So. Okay. Where they're like, it was really rough for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden, like, I was like starting to feel better, and then I just, had issues again.
Yeah, I did have a moment in there where I felt like I was turning around, and then it just, it was like reminding me, like, no, dude, you're still sick. Chill out.
Maybe that was the thing, and it's just one of those, like, it just depends on where it hits. But I think that's the thing that happens a lot with getting sick.
Yeah, I think that is a big part of it. I read a piece today, actually, about a woman who got COVID-19, and she developed a sort of pneumonia during that because of, just how it was affecting her body. And she is still fighting that. She was one of the people that got it, like, early on, like back in, March, I think it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's just still trying to get rid of that pneumonia. And I just feel for people that go through that, man.
I know. Well, there's that Nick. Oh God, I can't remember his last name, but I follow his wife on Instagram and everything, and he's a Broadway star, and he has it. He's been in the ICU for like 56 days, and he hasn't had COVID, like hasn't tested positive for COVID for like 2 weeks or something like that. Like, so the COVID is out of his system, but his, like, they said that his lungs look like he's been a smoker for years, and he's just got horrible infections, and he finally woke up from like his coma, and then he's had another backslide in the past couple of days. So it's just like, it's crazy.
My goodness. You know, there's still not enough data about this thing for people to really like determine, like, okay, this is what happens now. This is how long this is going to take. This is what you should do to treat it. There's so many just unknowns about it. And it's so unique for me to hear our medical community coming out and saying stuff like that. Like, we don't know. You know, usually it's okay, well, if you have a history of this, then this is what's going on. You know, they give us enough to, you know, not be like terrified of it. Like, oh, you know, there's a chance you're going to die, and then just leave you alone.
They did that at first, and then it was like, suddenly like, oh no.
They did. But I know you and we both like, we appreciate facts and knowledge about this sort of thing. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I love about my governor, Governor Pritzker, from jump. He's been doing, well, I should say, since he's been doing these like daily press conferences, just giving people updates. He's got a medical professional up there with him that gives the facts and figures about how many people were tested, how many people contracted, how many deaths there were in Illinois. And every time a reporter asks him a question, you know, something that's just like, do you think we'll be back in time for opening day? Like, you know, we're listening to the scientists and the medical professionals.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing everything that we can to make sure that everyone stays safe first and foremost. We understand that there is a certain passion that goes along with sports and with festivals and that sort of thing, but we want to make sure that people are alive and around to enjoy them. Like, he's just been like upfront about that, and I appreciate that candor, you know.
I'm jealous of that because we've got Florida. So
you got fucking Snake Man.
Yeah, Florida's been reopening. They're in, well, I guess still phase 1 or whatever of reopening. And look, I've talked about this before, I believe, on here. I've definitely talked to you about it private, but like some things we are going to have to start reopening because like the economic, like we can't. Like, we just have to do it safely.
Yes.
So people have to wear their masks. They have to maintain distance, everything like that. But, like, I mean, when you're talking about so many people being employed by, you know, Disney or whatever, it's like, well, we're going to have to find a way to get some of these things moving again.
Well, we're at an impasse right now because we have a government that's not willing to assist folks that are in need, you know, with the resources that we have. You know, there's always, and it frustrates me to no end. And this is just like simple, just politics 101. But just the fact that it's like, okay, we're going to go ahead and do this great thing for the people, but we're going to slide in this little deal here for our buddies over at Chrysler. You know, we're gonna go ahead and give them a little tax breaky break because that's what they believe. That's what they deserve, rather. And we believe they deserve that. And they're just wonderful people over there. And they're gonna give us all new cars. It's gonna be great. Oh, but we're also helping the destitute and poor. And yeah, sure. Like, that just irks me to no end, you know? We just had that bill, that was up for vote, to give us another. They were working on another round. And you know, it's basically just dead in the water because it was a Democrat idea.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, well, you guys came up with this? Fuck you. No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, and I realize not everyone wants to hear about politics or everything, but like, this is what happens when we don't deal with politics, when we don't become involved and
when you don't vote,
understand that politics are our lives, our livelihoods.
Right.
And government does serve a purpose, and it's shit like this. So when they're not doing their jobs, when they're not taking care of people with the money that you give them as your money, I don't know why they're acting like this is a handout.
Right.
to give a stimulus check when it's your fucking money.
This is money that we gave them to use to help us.
To run shit. Yeah,
and,
exactly.
You know, personally, again, politics 101. This is the common feeling amongst just people with common sense. I don't want to pay for the presidents of golf while people die. It fucking sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. That was... I can't even fathom that. Who wants to golf right now? Like when you are in a position to be able to do something. I understand that like golfing is like a social distancing exercise game that you can do.
Yeah.
Like, cause you don't have to interact with people. So like if the everyday guy is like, hey, the golf course is open and like I can safely go do this, like you can safely go walk in a park as long as you maintain your distance. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
But like he's in a position of power where he can actually do stuff to help people. Like, why don't you mail out a mask to everyone?
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, with the fucking love letter he wrote about how, you know, he's graciously giving you this money and everything. I got a letter in the mail from the Internal Revenue Service, and that's never a good thing. And then it's just like a self-flating letter that he wrote, basically saying, hey, like that money? Remember me when it comes time to vote, because those other guys didn't do it. It was all me. Hashtag MAGA.
Right.
I'm not putting that in this
First of all,
show.
you should not be using the IRS as a political...
Yeah.
Like, once again, little things, like all of these things that happen would have destroyed any other career in politics.
Yeah.
But we live in such a weird fucking time.
It's a distraction-heavy time. That's for sure.
I just don't understand it.
Neither do I.
It's crazy.
You know what? But if we could understand it, then we would have.
Yeah,
we
but
would have
anyway,
beat it by now.
I'm still kind of scared to go outside. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
actually go to restaurants and stuff like that. I'm like,
Absolutely, yes.
It's a little time. Let's see what happens.
Even with the bumper tables, you're still scared?
Ugh, yeah.
Especially with the bumper tables. Can you imagine? People are going to be knuckleheads and be bumping into each other on purpose. There's no social distancing there.
People don't know how to abide by this, and they haven't been doing it. And that is one thing that does bother me, is that there are people that have not been following the social distancing. And I'm like, you're just making it more difficult for the rest of us. And you make the people that have been doing this and are going crazy feel like we're doing it for nothing.
Right. Exactly.
Like,
there was a very, the striking image I saw of the cover of the New York Times that listed the 100,000 folks that passed away during this whole thing.
Well, they actually only listed 1,000.
Wow.
They could not fit.
Yeah.
They couldn't fit all of those names. It was not possible. And that was like, 4 pages or however many pages that was of the New York Times. It's actually only 1,000 of the 100,000.
Well, it wasn't only their names. It was like, their
like
names. Exactly. Just like a 1-sentence obituary where they were from. Yeah. And then, just a little anecdote about them. And I thought that just was so heartbreaking to see that, because, your whole life summed up in one word on the cover of the New York Times, but you're on the cover of the New York Times. And then somebody, on Instagram, I saw superimposed the picture, the silhouette of Donald Trump swinging a golf club. Yeah. Over that. And I was just like, damn.
Yeah, when someone pointed out that was only 1,000 of the 100,000 names, I was like, wait, what? Like, because that visual is hard enough to process.
Right.
The numbers are hard to process. I think they did a very good job of making those numbers feel more real.
Right.
But even reminding that, like, hey, we can't publish all of them is insane.
It's really sad. I mean, and then in the midst of everything that's going on, there's even more sad news. And I didn't want to start the show like this, and I apologize. But
I mean, this is the world we're in.
Yeah, so
but it's something. To deal with it. We'll get to other better things in a few minutes.
Yeah, we got a great wall of weird. Stick around for that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how much you've seen about the situation with George Floyd, the gentleman that was pinned to the ground in Minneapolis by the police. Once again, saying, I can't
in
breathe.
lockdown. We're killing black people. What the fuck?
Yeah, you find time in your busy police career to fucking suffocate another black man. And it's like
I'm
insult
sorry, not kill. Let's not use the word kill. Let's use the word murder because it was murder.
Exactly. And, you know, we've unfortunately been through this before. A lot of the photos I saw on social media were people posting like, I can't believe I'm reposting this again, but this is exactly how I felt last time. Here's the post. Here's the image. Here's the comic strip that I did to express my displeasure with the state that our country is in. And then we have this shit sandwich, and this is like the fucking like Cool Whip on top of it, because now we have to deal with these 4 cops. Now, I will say this. I am impressed by the swift action that they've taken, that these 4 cops were not put on administrative leave, they were fired.
Yep. And that is a positive thing.
That's progress, and it's unfortunate that we're going through this bullshit again. But they do, of course, need to face criminal charges. That's what really needs to happen here. They need to be locked away. And that's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that woman that was walking her dog and called the cops, she faced swift action as well. So, at least we are starting to see some consequences. That's good. And
I've seen people drawing parallels to that. The way that she attempted to utilize the police as her personal protection squad. And the fact that on that same day, a man across the country is getting murdered by police.
Right.
What do you think would have happened to Christian Cooper in a different scenario?
Right.
Christian Cooper is a fucking hero, man. I mean, just the way that he handled it with grace and just...
Dude just wanted to watch some birds.
He just wanted to go bird watching in Central Park in New York. What the fuck?
I find that so wholesome, by the way.
Exactly. And, you know,
I want to get that man some birds.
I didn't know he works for Marvel from time to time as a writer and an editor. He actually created one of the first gay characters in a Star Trek comic while he was at Marvel.
Oh, that's great.
And he's had an amazing career. Like if you get a moment, read up on the dude. He's really interesting. But you know, it sucks that this woman who
it doesn't matter who he is. Like at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah. But, it could have been anybody. Person. It could have been somebody who just got out of jail. It doesn't matter. Yeah. The fact that she decided to just try to ruin this man's life because of his presence.
So weird. God,
yes.
It's weird.
But you know what? I mean, it's.
But
I got no silver lining.
The silver lining is that there are consequences that we are seeing. And so that's some progress. I mean, at what cost? But it's just ridiculous. I did see someone pointing out, and I thought this was it made sense to me. I believe it was Akilah Hughes was saying, stop posting this video on my timeline of this man being murdered.
Right. Because
you so easily do that when it's a person of color, but not with a white person. And then that also brings up the idea of well, this is just going to re-trigger people, and it's posted so casually, as opposed to, it's there are sexual assault warnings when there, or articles posted and stuff like that. There are trigger warnings for particular things that we put out there, but for some reason, it's not the same when it comes to these videos. And I have seen, some people who are they have good intentions, but they're sharing these images and these videos and stuff like that. And they're kind of look at this, look at what they're doing. It's yeah, but you need to keep in mind that that, at least I kind of agree with the idea of that is really traumatizing. That's gotta be.
Yeah.
And you gotta kind of consider that for trigger warnings or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's,
but you also have to share it. It's a fine line.
It really is. It's there's no right answer.
Yeah.
There's no right answer except for compassion,
right. I don't think that I'm saying here's the answer. I'm just saying that was something that was brought up, and I think that we do need to be aware of that.
Right.
And navigate with that knowledge.
I didn't expect you to have the answer. That's why I took that long pause, because I'm like,
yeah.
What do I say to that? Because absolutely,
I didn't expect you to have an answer.
There is none besides compassion. You just
I mean, I agree across the board with everything, but particularly in situations like this. Well, that sucked. Let's talk about something.
Yes, let's talk about something a little more upbeat. Hey, the Snyder Cut's come. No, we'll save that for later. Fargo. You've been watching Fargo.
I am excited about the Snyder Cut. Let's just talk about the Snyder Cut.
Okay, fine. Let's talk about the Snyder Cut.
I'm excited about this now.
Okay, why are you excited?
Because they're not just releasing this cut that's sitting on, in their studio or whatever. Mm-hmm. They're putting like $30 million into this.
Yeah. They really are. I was
CGI,
surprised
to possibly do reshoots. Like they're going all out with this thing.
Can I tell you, if you'd asked me a year ago if this thing actually existed, if this wasn't just like the vaporware of movies, if this wasn't New Mutants, I'd totally
Yeah, New Mutants does not exist.
It doesn't exist.
By that?
Nope, does not exist. I would have thought the Snyder Cut does not exist either, but here we are. It actually exists, people. It's kind of being made right now, but it wasn't just like, all talk. He has been campaigning for this. He has been stirring up the fanboys, and boy howdy, what a world we live in where all that complaining and bitching and moaning actually works.
Yeah, that is a debatable whether you want, whether that's a good thing or not, that the complaining worked. But I think that the core idea of like, we're going to release this, but we're not just going to release it. We're going to invest a lot of money in it.
Yeah, it's another carrot to dangle for HBO Max.
Yeah. I'm shocked, and they might be doing reshoots for it too. Most of that money is going to be just rendering the CGI.
Amazing.
It's going to come out next year. And I don't know if you read this article. This is The Verge, but they also said that it's going to be really long. I believe it was like 4.5 hours.
Holy crap!
So now I don't know if it was this article or a different article, but they were saying that they are debating making it a mini-series kind of thing instead to make it more digestible. That would be really cool as well. But apparently it's very long. So.
Now, I am curious how much of it is going to be what he initially wanted to release as a movie or, at least get on film versus how much is he putting in now in retrospect, hearing what the fan backlash was of what was actually on screen. He's in the catbird position right now because he gets to hear about everything that Joss Whedon was blamed for and go back and just magically erase all that shit or leave it in just to, put a middle finger to the fans like, haha, that was actually me. I was the one that CG'd Henry Cavill's face. I fooled you all.
No, that's not going to happen. But I do think that at the end of the day, I think that he's probably going to go with his original vision because these dudes are arrogant enough to think that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so here it is. So they're saying it's not clear what form Snyder's version will take. Apparently, the director and Deborah Snyder, producer of the film, who's also married to Zack Snyder, remember both of them had to go. So they also lost a producer.
That's right.
Because they lost their child, unfortunately. They are still determining whether the director's cut will be released as a nearly 4-hour film or divided into a 6-part series. That's what the Hollywood Reporter is saying.
6-part series. Wow. To mirror your excitement, I am very curious to see how this turns out.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't say excitement. It's more of that, like, I also didn't hate Justice League as much as you did. So I was like, oh, this has got some good stuff in it. Like, I enjoyed it well enough. It did help that my brother was in town when I saw that movie. Mm-hmm. And we were just like, it was a very rare occasion where it was just him visiting kind of thing. Okay. So we were just hanging out, and it had just been released. Home release. So we just sat at home, watched Justice League, and we were both like, "Well, that was kind of fun."
Yeah.
So I was in a good frame of mind going into it.
There's something to be said for a film or anything really where your expectations have been set so low that there's nothing that movie can do to really turn you off. Well, almost nothing. I can't really say that because I did watch that movie.
His face was fucked up.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Like, I watched that. I was going to say...
that still doesn't make any sense to me that they were like, he can't shave his mustache.
None. It's a big budget film. And then...
You can make your mustache. Okay. Just a sidebar with this.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever watched This Is Us? Because that's a TV show on NBC, and they have some of the best fucking wigs in the game. Just call them up. It'll probably cost you like less than $1 million.
Yeah.
Just get that facial on there. Like the Mission Impossible studio, what is that? Not Universal. Paramount?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Paramount. Like, they were fucking unreasonable about that. That is so stupid.
It was almost...
Henry Cavill was like, are you fucking kidding me? I can't shave my mustache to go do these reshoots. You can't give me a fake mustache.
In a movie that's main plot points are about the amazing technology that the Impossible Missions Force has at costuming...
Face.
And makeup. You can't put a mustache.
The movies literally had someone wearing another person's face.
Yes.
And you're like, you know what, guys? No, that mustache, it will not look real. No.
Oh, no. No. We can't. No.
I'm sorry. What?
Oh, man. We broke Mission Impossible, guys. I'm sorry. That's it. So...
Mission Impossible is a great franchise. There's nothing against it, but that was stupid. That was so stupid. And it was just, whatever.
Mission Impossible has had a weird, like, franchise life, kind of like Fast and Furious almost. Because at one point it was like, okay, that movie was dumb. Oh, God, they're making a sequel to that movie? That's even worse. Hold on. This third one, though...
No, the first one was very successful. Like, they've all been very successful.
They have been, but I feel like they always release them when nothing else is really coming out either. You know? It's one of those where it's like, you got time for this weekend? Well, let's waste 2 hours at the show. Let's see what's going on.
God, remember when you just casually went to the movies?
God, remember, yes, going to the movies and not knowing what you were going to see, what time anything was starting, just staring at the neon board or the LED board, just like, shit, let's see, this starts at 2.
I miss the movies.
Yes.
I miss it. I miss that. And like, you know, even if they were open right now, I can't afford to go because everything's crazy. But like, that is a thing that I really miss right now.
Yeah, me too.
Going to the movies.
Yeah, you know, speaking of stuff that's kind of halfway closed and slowly opening back up, Starbucks is starting to roll out some ads. I saw one today, and they're just like, hey, why don't you go ahead and get that gift card ready now? Because we're going to be opening back up. I swear, it was just like the biggest flex. Just like, yo, remember Starbucks? Remember coming to get coffee? Remember when somebody else made your coffee? Come through. Slide in these DMs. Come through.
Yeah. Starbucks. Oh. Actually, I don't really miss that much.
I do.
No. I get it. I'm not saying I don't miss it. I'm just saying, like,
in the grand scheme
hierarchy.
of things.
I miss, like, Thai food. And, like, I'm talking about, like, you're going to a restaurant. You're eating there.
Yeah.
And, like, you're not worried about dying. Like, I'm like, okay, Thai food, and then, like, going to the movies and, you know, blah, 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 all that.
It's so funny because we sound like Robin Williams and Hook trying to talk about how the food was so great in Neverland before he left, and then trying to, like, reimagine how good it tasted and everything. Yeah. Hook is an underrated movie, by the way. I'm just throw that out there. I really enjoyed Hook.
Are people really bored by Hook?
I think
the complaint of Hook.
I don't remember what the complaint was because I was so, like, at that age, I think I was like maybe 12 or 11 or whatever. I was like I was just wrapped up in it. I'm like, okay, I'm all about this movie. I like Robin Williams. I like the Peter Pan story. It had a dope video game. Okay, you got me. Hook is a great movie. And I think...
Yeah, I mean, I remember enjoying it, but
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know, man.
I'm trying to remember. Was it not successful? Now I need to look it up. Hold on,
I don't
let's
think
find
it
out.
made money.
Yeah, which is weird because it was Spielberg.
That's true.
Yeah,
It's one of those rare.
That was a sad laugh. That was when Spielberg. No, it was before Spielberg started to not be as successful.
When he started making those weird choices like walkie-talkies.
No, because this was pre-Schindler's List and Jurassic Park and everything like that. So he still had a lot of gas left in the tank.
Gotcha.
Critical response was not good.
Oh, okay. There was some hating-ass haters back then, that's why. But back to the Snyder Cut for a second.
Yes.
It's interesting.
No, that's what we're talking about, so yeah, go for it.
Already, it has spawned an offshoot of Release the Snyder Cut, which is Release the Ayer Cut for Suicide Squad.
No one cares about that. What?
Well, 2 people on Twitter do apparently, and you know what?
Yeah.
I read a great observation about it actually as well. Somebody said, you know that movie that you saw the version of in the theaters? Guess what? There's a completely different cut of it that they never released because that's every movie.
I mean, that's true.
That's what editors do. That's the whole job.
That's why
edit.
That's why. Yeah.
That's why movies aren't 4 hours long by nature. That's why Quentin Tarantino had to split up Hateful Eight for Netflix into like 5 episodes.
Okay, I need to rewatch Hateful Eight with that cut because I could not watch Hateful Eight in one sitting. I've never seen all of it. So I'm wondering if that version will be more digestible to me.
I feel like I need to go back and watch it just when nothing else is going on. I feel like when I tried, there was some
when are
other...
you going to have time for that, Matt?
Oh, man, gee, maybe tomorrow. Or the day after.
Good news. My cousin's wife is in labor right now. And I'm close to her. I talk to her a lot. She actually messaged me last night at like 7 o'clock or something like that. She's like, we're halfway there. I'm in labor. And she's still in labor.
Oh, living on a prayer indeed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because of COVID, so the reason that I'm like more attentively checking it, she is giving birth at home.
Wow.
Because they told her that her husband would be allowed to FaceTime, but not be in the delivery room. And she said, fuck that.
Wow.
And also, apparently, if they're worried about exposure to COVID, they'll separate you from the baby for 2 weeks.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. So she was like, I don't think so. So yeah, they're doing like midwife at home. So I was checking. I guess she's closer to having the baby. But I'm like, oh gosh, she's been in labor so long. I feel so terrible. They're never going to have more kids. This is going to be like, between COVID and this, she's going to be like, nope, I'm done.
That's it.
But she's okay. Anyway, sorry, I just read that text message.
No,
so,
I'm glad she's doing all right.
Editing and the Hateful Eight and stuff. So yeah, I'm curious about that mini series. If it's better, I'd be like, if someone let us know, like, let me know. Do you think I should just try to watch the movie again, or should I try to watch that Netflix cut of it, like that's more digestible? What do you think? Especially like, you know, people that love Tarantino. Yeah. What is the one to go with?
My vote is for the miniseries, just because now, mind you, I haven't sat through either version of it, but my vote is for the miniseries because it's the second pass, you know? So he's taking things that he liked and added to it and stuff he didn't like and took it out, you know? Yeah. So there's that. That's
Depends.
A positive.
Sometimes that's better, sometimes that's worse.
Yeah, that's
There
true.
are director's cuts that are worse. I'm looking at you,
Apocalypse Now. Didn't they have to take a third pass at Blade Runner because the second version was just so bad?
I think so. Yeah, I think the 2 versions of it. And then the Apocalypse Now thing is just so self-indulgent when he's getting into the French occupation of Vietnam.
Yeah.
And he's got I understand this is beautifully shot, but you don't need this. It derails the entire plot of the film. Whatever.
I saw it in the theater, the director's cut. There was some big release party here in Chicago that my aunt was part of, and I got to see it at the theater. I was bored out of my mind. But also I was like 15 or 16, so it was just kind
That
of...
is not the kind of movie you want to watch at that age, no.
You would think so, though, because it's got, like, you know, sex and violence and all that stuff that you shouldn't see, but it's just boring on top of all that, too.
Apocalypse Now is like the real war film.
Right.
So it's not the war film you want to see. If you're that age, you want to see, like, Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Which is a more action-packed. Apocalypse Now is about war driving you to madness.
Yeah. I've seen so many reflective movies and TV shows lately. I kind of need a break from all that. I finished Devs tonight before we started recording, and I can't praise that show enough, honestly. It's just so enjoyable. It's on Hulu, guys, if you're listening. If you want to check it out, it's on Hulu. It's got Allison Pill, it's got Nick Offerman, it's got a lot of new actors who I personally hadn't seen in many other projects, but, you know, who am I? But I don't want to give away too much about it, and I know I say that a lot, kind of to avoid, you know, messing up storylines, but this in particular.
I haven't heard anything about this show,
that's
by the way.
Really good, because you want to go into this blindly. Yeah. There's a lot of great performances by the female actresses, though, and you know, just man, it's so good. I want you to watch it so we can talk about it. Okay.
I've been watching. I returned to Fargo. We talked about Fargo.
Yeah.
So how I watched the first season, really loved it. Tried the second season, but couldn't get into it. So what I did was I went back and restarted the second season. So now I'm at the point where I'm in stuff I haven't seen yet of that. So I'm watching that, and I've watched a little bit of Good Girls as well.
I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, it's a really good show.
It improves immensely as you go along because, I know at first you mentioned, like, there's certain things that the characters do and have done that just make you so angry it's hard to really sink your teeth into. But, once they get to the point of no return, it's like, all right, I gotta see what happens next.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And it manages to be funny at times, which I really appreciate because... Like, you talked about you like Ozarks, and I could not get into that show because it was so dark and it was so, like, unlikable. I couldn't do it. Whereas when I watched Good Girls, and I felt the same way about Breaking Bad, it is very dark. Yeah. And it is dealing with heavy themes and heavy stuff, but you felt like you were kind of like you could see some of yourself in these people, or rooting for them or whatever. And that was the weird thing that I had with Ozarks, which I couldn't deal with. I couldn't deal with their not, at least from what I'd watched it, which was only like an episode. But I was like, what is the point? Why do I want to watch these characters?
It helps if you imagine Ron Howard narrating during the quiet moments. Because, it's just
I mean, I'm not saying they have to be like perfect heroes or whatever, but you have to, for me, there has to be something there that makes you curious. Even like Mad Men can be very dark, but the beauty of that is that you're so curious about how this is going to play out, the mystery of who this person is, how does he deal with his life, everything like that.
Yeah.
And I just didn't feel that with that show, which is interesting because so many people love that show.
It gets better as it goes along. And I know I've mentioned this detail before, but just seeing those sweeping overhead shots in the show itself, they're so beautifully shot. They're so beautifully done. And they do spend a lot of time in Chicago. So I get to see Chicago in 4K HD. And it was one of the first shows Netflix really trotted out with their like highest fidelity. I think it was like that. And that German show Dark, where they were just like, hey, if you want to like push your TV to the limits, watch these two shows. And, I like Jason Bateman, so I stuck around for that. And he puts in some great performances. The nuance he does in the directing aspect of it is fantastic. Everything. I'm
not gonna lie. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just want to add, I sometimes struggle with Jason Bateman because I'm still not over Juno.
I totally get you. I totally understand that.
He was such a prick in that movie that I'm like, God.
I can't get Dee to watch Zootopia because he does a voice in there. I totally understand. And I'm like, it's so good. You should watch that. But Jason
Zootopia is great, though.
Yes. I mean, man, look, I'm telling you, Ozark, it grows on you. Like,
Yeah.
Once you accept that, there's really no likable characters in there,
Right.
it just becomes a challenge of just wanting to see people get theirs,
Look, I've been able to overcome that in the past. Like Seinfeld. I struggled with Seinfeld for a long time because I was like, I hate all of these people. And then I was like, and then I finally, the way I unlocked Seinfeld was I just fell in love with Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
And how brilliant she is. And that let me enjoy that show.
Okay.
And also I remember I got into It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. For some reason, that show I was okay with. And they're all garbage people.
They really are.
I think that kind of allowed me to embrace it in comedy a little bit easier.
Yeah. I think what helps me embrace Always Sunny is, like, it's homegrown. Like, like, all of them are responsible for writing everything and coming up with everything, and it's a lot of improv.
It just got renewed for season 15.
It's
longest
nuts.
running.
It's not, and they go and they do series in between that, too. So I appreciate the hustle,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They do a more reasonable schedule. And I think they have more control now. So they're doing, like 12 episodes or something like that. And I think that's, I also think that a show like that, now they're in quarantine and everything, they might be appreciating that a little bit more. They might be like, yeah, let's do another season because look, we don't have this right now.
Yeah, that bar's always empty. So, they could just...
Yeah, exactly.
Just stay. And they, I did read a news story about the next season too. They said that they were going to address the COVID situation too. So that's going to be a mess. But back to what you were saying about. I'm so
excited for that. That is going to be fucking hilarious and cathartic. If there's any, I actually don't want to see pretty much anything address COVID after this. I just kind of want to move on. But if there's anything I do want to see address it, it's Always Sunny.
There was something that I put out in the world the other day that I really want to be a thing, actually, is I want comedy specials to tell me when they were recorded so I know whether or not the stand-up is going to, like, address the COVID thing. Because what else are they going to talk about? They haven't done anything else for the past, like, several months.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I was walking down the street and I realized, hey, I'm walking down the street.
There's going to be so many shitty indie movies and one-man plays. And people are like, great art is going to come out of this. No, bitch. So much bad art's going to come out of this.
I saw somebody built I want to say, 10-foot tall kookaburra. That's great art. That's great fucking art. Yes.
No, there is some great art going to come out of it. I'm just kidding. There will be some great stuff. There's also going to be some insufferable stuff because that's how art works.
Yes.
It's like the facts of life. You take the good, you take the bad.
But back to Good Girls for a second. Retta is what makes that show for me.
So good.
Her reactions, her one-liners, her storyline in general, everything about Retta makes me tune into that show every episode.
I mean, she's so good. I love all three of them.
Yeah, they got a great cast.
Whitman on Parenthood. When she was on Parenthood, she was really great. And then obviously Christina Hendricks, Mad Men. Like, she's just brilliant. But yeah, that I agree. Retta is just. I'm so glad she has a lead on a show. She deserves it. She's hilarious.
And, I'm really glad, too, that it's still around. I didn't think it was going to last past one season because...
I didn't either. They're going into 4 now? They just got renewed for 4th?
Yeah, and I think the writers are like, okay, shit, what do we do next? But they come up with good stuff.
End it.
Yeah. if you're struggling like that, it's time to go.
Yeah, if you're that much on the,
Give Damon Lindelof a call. He'll tell you the same thing. Just wrap it up.
Don't fucking talk about. Never mind.
Yeah. Lost has
I
been
need
off.
to revisit The Leftovers.
Yeah. I was gonna say Lost has been off the air now as long as it was on the air. 10 years.
Longer, right? No, it wasn't. It was on for 6 seasons.
Was it? I thought it was on for 10 years. Weird. Okay. Never mind. I take back my fake fact. Disregard. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to research that and come back to you. Because it was some crafty article I read. I was like, wow, that's really interesting. I'm going to tell Lex. It was wrong.
I mean, unless it was worded differently, yeah. But it was on for 6 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, now that I've embarrassed myself, let's talk about the worst concert you've ever been to.
All right. What's yours?
The worst concert I've ever been to. I like the musical stylings of an MC named MF Doom. MF Doom patterns himself after the supervillain Dr. Doom from the Fantastic Four. All of his albums take little snippets and sound bites from the old 60s cartoons, and he produces them, and he just has a way with words. He has just an amazing flow that you just can't resist. So I wanted to see him live. I never go see live music. I shouldn't say never.
I'm with you there. I don't have a lot of concert experience.
Yeah.
So it's more limited.
Yeah. So, I rarely go see live performances, but when I do, it's an event. It's like, yes, I need to go see this. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. I was so hyped. Not only was he on the card, Mos Def was going to be performing with him. They had decided to do like an album together. It was just announced. So they were going to go out on the road. Also, opening for them, a DJ named Mike Realm. Mike Realm is unique because he dresses up in a really smart suit. He looks like a member of Men in Black, glasses and everything. And he comes out on the stage. He doesn't just remix songs live in front of you. He remixes movies. He'll take a scene from Office Space and he'll make it into music. It's kind of cool. So I was excited to see all this. I went to the Congress Theater here in Chicago, and I found out I learned a hard lesson that night. Not only is the crowd at a rap show not the best crowd in the world, I'll say that. Okay. And it's not because it was a rap show. I don't want to put that out there. It was because of the kind of rap show it was. It was a more like avant-garde sort of like, hip-hop head sort of crowd. The type of people that'll go out and pay $1,000 for some sneakers, for some dunks at the time. So
for some Dunkaroos? I paid $1,000 for that.
They're back,
They are, and what a timeline we live in where I do not want to go try to find them.
Very true. So Mike Rome came out, great performance, hyped for that, had a few drinks, chilling, relaxing. I got the VIP tickets because it wasn't that much more expensive than the regular tickets, and you got a seat. So I'm chilling, sitting down, listening and everything. Time passes. They had some other local acts come out that weren't on the card. Like, cool, whatever, that happens. Time passes. We're just sitting there in silence. Nobody's out. Mos Def comes out on the stage. Everybody goes nuts. Like, yeah, the show's finally starting. Everybody's just going crazy. Mos comes out, sings one of his songs. He's like, hey, everybody, just want to let you know, Doom is on the way. He's running late. He got stuck in traffic. Like, okay, understandable. Say about, 30 minutes goes by. Mos comes out. He does another song, but this time he does one of MF Doom's songs. He does Rainbows. And like, okay, that's cool. I guess that means Doom is backstage getting ready. And then Mos goes backstage again. Another 20, 30 minutes passes. At this point, it's like midnight. And I'm just annoyed. Yeah, and a lot of people are annoyed. People are chanting, refund, refund, refund. So then, finally, the music kicks in. About half past midnight. Music kicks in. Doom comes out on stage. Everybody's celebrating. Something's off.
Go on.
You see, there's a thing that the character Dr. Doom does in the comics when he shows up to fight the Fantastic Four, and they just defeat him handily, and they think they've got him, and they're taking him to jail or whatever, and then they take off the mask, and it's a Doom bot. It's a robot that looks like Dr. Doom. Mm-hmm. Well, MF Doom does sort of the same thing for his concerts. He employs Doombots, which are guys that kind of look like him, and put on the mask. I neglected to mention that he performs in a mask.
I assumed, but
that looks like the dude. Yeah, he looks like the dude from 300. Basically, he looks like. Yeah. So he wears the 300 mask. He comes out. Everybody kind of notices that the rhymes are off. He's not really synced up with the track. and he's just doing a piss poor performance. Crowd starts booing, boo, boo, refunds, refunds, refunds. I just leave. I go talk to management. I'm like, look, I want a refund. No refunds were given that night. I went home pissed off.
Oh my God.
People stuck around. I went on all the message boards. I went on Reddit. I went on, the ticket website, everything,
When was this, you think?
This was, I want to say, like 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't until like literally a month or so ago that I found out that he actually had his visa suspended and wasn't allowed to perform in the States.
God.
But they promoted this show with his picture on there, not any mention of card subject to change, nothing like that. So, maybe the venue didn't know, maybe they weren't aware, but just like this performance art aspect of what he does and who he is bit me in the ass because I wanted to see one of my favorite rappers live and he never showed up.
Wow.
So that was my worst concert experience.
I feel like you definitely win. Yours was a whole thing. Mine was, first of all, I will say that my worst concert experience was in an atmosphere that was not for me.
Okay.
But is beloved by people that I love.
Mm.
And so I will not name the band because they are not a well-known band. They're a more smaller circuit band. And I don't want to say anything bad about them because it's just not my thing. I was roped in to going to this because everyone was going kind of thing.
Okay.
And it was like a punk rock type situation. And I am a wallflower of a person who does not, I don't really react a lot to things like that. Like, I'm not a sing in the car person. It's just not how I am. I enjoy that people do that. I don't typically do that. Sometimes I do, whatever, but. And this was when I was a little bit younger, too. So I just turned 21 or something like that. So, went to this show. And I'm in the back. I think I've talked about this before, but I have issues with sound, really loud shows and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I can't be too close. So I had to stay like pretty far in the back. And I didn't realize that they played without their shirts on and stuff like that. So it's like kind of like fat dudes, like, and they wear masks.
Oh no.
And it's, like a punk rock type of music or whatever, so it's very loud and intense and everything like that. And then they later in the show they had like beer spit, like they spit it, and I got like a lot of spit beer on me.
That's awful.
Yeah. And I was just like, I got home, and I'm like, we talked about, I'm a hypochondriac, so I got home and I was like Silkwood this shit. Like, I was fucked up from the hypochondriac point of it.
Yeah, that's cut to crying in the shower, next scene.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just a weird experience. And then it was like, they're coming back next year, and like next year rolled around, I was like, I'm not fucking doing that. Like, I was very much like, this was a terrible experience, and I felt bad that like they knew, like my friends knew it was a terrible experience, but also I was like, you kind of know me, and you have to know that this wasn't going to be my jam. Like,
oh man,
so I'm like, you kind of earned me having a really fucking pissed off night. 'Cause you didn't quite warn me properly.
Yeah. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, in my opinion, you win, because I didn't get spit on, at least. That's fucking bullshit.
Nobody wins.
No, we all lose. It's my favorite movie tagline of all time.
Yeah.
Alien versus Predator. Whoever wins, we lose.
Yes, exactly.
Oh. No. Yeah. Like, okay.
It was and it's not my type of music. Like, it is not the kind of music I would listen to on my own. Punk is a genre that I like some of it, but I don't listen to all of it. It's the same with like rap or country or everything like that. Like, there's some stuff that I love.
Someone's got to hit you the right way.
Yeah. Whereas, like, you can turn on an alt rock station and I'll listen to just about anything on there. I can't do that with some other genres. So, yeah, it was just like it wasn't great.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
It's just not. It was not my type of show. It doesn't mean that it was wrong, or any, they weren't doing anything that was technically wrong. It just was not the kind of environment that was suitable for my wallflower ass. Mm-hmm. It just wasn't for me.
On the other hand, the wallflowers. Now we're talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would legit go see the wallflowers today. If that was an option.
Yeah.
I would go see the wallflowers.
I don't think I'd want to pay though. That's the problem. It was $10 or something.
Yeah, if they're on, it's like a supercard or something, because they have this big 90s.
Quarantine has really got us fucked up. We're God, you really, I'd want to see the wallflowers live.
Right.
We're so desperate to see live music that we're bitch, the wallflowers. What? Let's go listen.
One of my favorite things is when bands go and perform full albums. If they could find a way to have everybody from the Godzilla soundtrack come through and just perform their song from the soundtrack.
That's true.
That'd be kind of great.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, get some
pyrotechnics and some holograms and get Godzilla on there. God, this is a $1 million idea. This might make more than the movie made.
It would, because they do everything right. Well, okay, the first good thing is you don't actually have to watch the film. The second good thing is... It is
advised that you do not watch the film.
The second good thing is you get Green Day without all those annoying roars in the background, or maybe you want those in the background and you provide them yourself. The audience gets to decide. Who knows? So, yeah,
maybe
everybody
wins. Maybe choose your own adventure. Who knows?
Choose your own Godzilla. Yeah. So yeah, I wonder if that's ever been done before. Because I know Weezer has done tonight we're doing the Blue Album, or
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. I
watch it.
I think it's a good idea too.
Yeah.
I think any artist would be willing to go do a tour like that after this.
Hell yeah.
Losing it. Yeah.
But I was saying before,
by the way, my favorite chaotic Instagram, by the way, of someone who's fucking losing it every day is January Jones.
Oh, really?
January Jones on Instagram. That bitch is losing her mind.
I can't wait to see. More than Allison. Well, Allison Bree's not losing her mind. She's just trying to simultaneously befriend a deer and thirst trap. And it just goes back and forth. My friend was I had to unfollow her, dude. There's something particularly chaotic about how January Jones is losing it. I think she got tap dancing shoes at one point. I don't know. She's just yeah. That's great.
Pretty great.
Rashida Jones, no relation. She posts dancing videos of her every now and then, trying to hip hop dance, and it's just so all right, that's cool. Do you, boo?
That reminds me of, did you ever see Katie Holmes trying to tap dance on SNL?
No.
Okay. So Katie Holmes went on SNL and apparently told them she could tap dance. And they were okay, we'll incorporate that at the beginning of it. She could not. It's pretty great.
That's pretty great.
I think you can find it on YouTube. And Tina Fey made fun of it at one point, so it was really, it was a lot.
Oh, January Jones, I gotta follow her, because every now and then, because you know how celebrities get priority if they comment on somebody's status.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every now and then I'll see her name pop up, and I'm like, how do you know Mos Def? What? Hold on a minute. What is going on?
Yeah.
Here? Ghostface Killer, January Jones. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But it's fine. She just wants to party with everybody else. I understand. I get it.
Yeah, she's just I think she's always been odd.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she just comes across as one of those, she's always been kind of weird. But, and that's why she's been really good at the parts that she's had, like when she was on Mad Men, obviously, and then Last Man on Earth. But it's also like you're seeing the weirdness now. Some people are just like, all right, you just keep doing your weird thing. Like, you were weird before, but then you're like, wait, this is January Jones. I don't think we realized how weird she is.
She was so great on Last Man on Earth. She was just down for whatever, and it was so great to see.
That is a quarantine show, my friends.
It's the perfect quarantine show.
It is a perfect quarantine show, and it is on Hulu last time I checked. Holy shit, guys. Go watch Last Man on Earth if you've never seen that show. I think there's like 5 seasons of it, and it is quarantine. Absolutely,
it's gold.
Quarantine.
It's gold. I didn't want to like it when I first started watching it. It was just kind of out of desperation because, you know, when I'm watching TV, when I can't sleep, I don't want to watch something that Dee wants to watch. So I'm just like trying to find something. Fortunately, she's not that fond of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so I marathon that. But
love Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
After an episode of that went off once, you know, Last Man on Earth came on, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'll watch this, you know, and whatever, Will Forte. I didn't like Will Forte that much before this. Yeah, I like
Will Forte, so I watched it from the get-go, and then I fell off it at some point. But, yeah, I went back.
That made me a fan of Will Forte. I'm like, this is pretty genius. I love this show.
Dude, have you watched MacGruber?
No, I have not.
That is one you need to visit.
Mac Gruber, you say?
MacGruber.
Okay.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Yeah,
if you like Will Forte, that is the thing. It's like Will Ferrell movies and stuff. You gotta like his style to dig the movie. But yeah,
like he was on. We already went over this. He was on Monday Night Raw promoting it at one point. It was so weird because he was in character. But yeah, I'll go watch.
I've already told you that you should watch MacGruber, and people are like, "You guys already had this conversation." Guess what, bitches? Quarantine. I don't care.
Quarantine.
I don't care. I don't care.
Anyway, so how about we dive into that wall of weird?
Yep. You got this story. I don't know what this is. So you want to tell me about it?
Oh, man. All right. So when I told you about this the first time, I messaged you and I said, I'm about to tell you the best headline that I've read in quite some time. And this is during I was sick when I saw this, and this snapped me out of my COVID-induced coma. And I'm like, I need to share this with my friend Lex because this is so exciting to me. Those words, Las Vegas Underground Doomsday Mansion.
Oh, what a beautiful headline.
Yes.
So good.
Now, I told you before that I'm on a lot of different just PR mailing lists, and I don't know how I got on them, nor do I know how to get off of them. So,
yeah,
my loss is your gain, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to tell you about this luxury Las Vegas Underground Doomsday Estate. This comes from top10realestatedeals.com. This
is the Sweet Chili Babies cult mansion that we're going to live in, guys. So get ready.
This is how we're getting down. This is the mullet of mansions, ladies and gentlemen. This is all mansion on the top, all bunker on the bottom. But the cool thing about the Underground Doomsday Estate is that it looks just like the house from Blast from the Past.
I'm trying to click on it.
Oh my
god, it does.
It's exactly like it, except it's a little bit cooler.
I want to go there.
Now, of course, we'll post the link.
I love this.
This
is awful. Terrible. I want it.
Oh man, it's so cheesy and just so okay. Let's read about it a little bit.
Let's listen to Perry Como and move here.
In the 50s and 60s, Americans scrambled to find safe places to shelter during the Cold War and the Cuban Missile Crisis, when Russian nuclear rockets less than 100 miles from the Florida coast were poised to launch toward the U.S. That's a weird place for a period, but we're going to stop there. Thousands of homeowners built backyard or basement shelters stocked to survive a missile attack that never came. As years went by and the threat of an atomic bomb war became a distant memory, most of the bomb shelters were turned into playrooms, food storage, or simply abandoned. Today, yet another crisis has people once again scurrying to find the best and safest place to ride it out. One of the most elegant doomsday bunkers, located in Las Vegas and built by Avon Cosmetics executive Gerard Henderson in 1978, is for sale, with an increase from a $1.7 million sale in 2014 to a 2020 coronavirus brain-busting $18 million.
What?
Yes.
What? No one's buying that shit.
A lovely home on its own. Henderson's 5,000 square foot house, grounds, and amenities were built underground inside a 15,000 square foot bunker of steel reinforced concrete. The traditional style home includes the best decor and design that the 70s had to offer, and Henderson could afford whatever his heart desired. He wanted luxury and an underground lifestyle that would be as close to his and his family's above-ground lifestyle as possible. The interior is still decked out with a well-designed 70s kitchen, great room with beam ceilings, a large wood-burning stone fireplace, and sliding glass doors that open to a faux outside lawn and views.
Okay.
I'm down with this shit.
This is a very... I mean, guys, if you've seen Blast from the Past,
yeah,
this is it.
This is baller. I mean, this is just absolute baller.
Great.
Because you have a whole mansion upstairs that you could live in peace and harmony and enjoy, and then downstairs is another mansion with a pool and boulders that turn into barbecue pits and just great rooms with TVs, that were probably the highest of tech in the 1970s, but still.
I would assume that they've upgraded those.
Hopefully.
And if not, you can upgrade them.
Now that it's $18 million, and it has like a day to night, like, transformation light scenario going on too. So, yeah, you're not going to lose track of time down there too much.
That kitchen is pink. What?
You know it. 1970s? Hell yeah,
it's
pink
cool.
kitchen.
God. This is fucking weird.
I know.
This is perfect for a wall of weird. Yeah.
Yeah. $18 million and it can all be yours.
More of the
upstairs?
Yeah.
Same.
Like, you're going to spend that much money on the house. Let me see the top of the bunker, not just underground bunker part.
I'm sure we can look around and find it, a little bit more, on Google and stuff like that. But yeah, the underground bunker stuff is fascinating. So
this is on another level, though. Like, I've never seen a bunker like this.
No.
What did I just say?
I've never seen a bunker like this.
I should specify, I've never, been in bunkers. but I know that they exist. I've seen pictures of bunkers.
I'm a bunker enthusiast, if you will. But no, I've never seen...
God. I have met bunker enthusiasts. They scare me. They're the same dudes that are like, I need all of these AK-47s. You're like, please don't.
More than two seems like overkill. No pun intended. But yeah.
Pun intended.
But yeah, absolutely intended. Oh shit, okay. I think I found the above ground portion and they need to water their grass.
That's the thing you're concerned about, Matt?
Basically.
Okay.
Anyway, that was fun.
Yeah, that was good. Very good.
All right, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Lex and Matt's Excellent Adventure. I think we should probably state the name of the show in here somewhere.
Yeah, we started a little bit intense, but we ended with the funny. We always bring in the funny.
We did. And you can look at our Facebook page and our other social medias in order to find this link so you can enjoy the spacious Las Vegas underground doomsday bunker as well, along with us.
I might post some of the pictures with it when we post the episode. I don't know. We'll see.
You should.
Either way.
You totally should. Yeah. And if you click on the link at the bottom, you can see the barbecue boulder grill, like on Flintstones.
Man, they got a bird you can pull.
They got a.
Remember on Parks and Rec when they had the control guys and they're like, "Yeah, man, we tried to get this bird as an alarm. It didn't work." They were pulling at a dead bird. A dead bird hanging up in the... That's one of my favorite jokes on that.
Oh, God.
They tried to do like the Flintstones. It did not work.
It did not work. It's a living. And on that note, I'm Matt Peters.
I'm Lex Lutz. Be excellent to each other, everyone.
Peace.
Bye.